From the top of Bald Mountain Pass, Utah, welcome to the GCN Show! Woo!
Welcome to the GCN Show.
This week, why you will shed weight through cycling, plus one reason why you won't. And we dip over to the Rouleur Classic with Cy, where amongst other things, he talks to Gerard Vroomen about one by.
And we round up all the action from the Euro Cyclocross Championships. Plus, as ever, we have all of your favourites too.
This week, in the world of cycling, we learned that pro road riders' off-seasons are getting increasingly short. Here is a clip of Michał Kwiatkowski and Rigoberto Urán racing somewhat intensely into November.
That's just too much for this time of year, Dan.
Yeah.
God.
Hope they stayed upright.
Oh, we also learned that even the finest cyclocross riders don't always get it right.
No, we're not talking about Mathieu van der Poel or Sanne Khan. It was business as usual for them at the weekend.
No, we're talking about our very own Cy Richardson.
What a plonker.
I know.
That's not just embarrassing for him, actually. He's representing GCN. It's embarrassing for us as well.
I know. We also learned this week that cycling to work is better than going to the gym for losing weight. Almost.
Yeah, this is a study which was conducted at the University of Copenhagen. What they found was that people going to the gym for a 35-minute high-intensity session 5 days a week did in fact lose the most, 4.5 kilograms on average. But the cyclists who did a 14-kilometre round trip to work 5 days a week weren't far behind. They lost, on average, 4.2 kilograms.
Bonus, save a load of money and lose a load of weight. But this research isn't an outlier. There are other studies there as well to back it up.
Yeah, for example, research which came from the Lancet Medical Journals. Out of 150,000 people surveyed, they found that those who went to work on a bike were, on average, far lower in terms of BMI and were, wait for it, 5 kilograms lighter.
5 kilograms lighter. Well, I suppose, though, it's not really that difficult to see that actually riding to work is far better than sitting in a car. Now, the aforementioned 14-kilometre commute, that's going to save you, or you're going to burn, between 400 and 600 calories.
Although, not sure if you saw this, but Nico Rosberg recently claimed that he won the Formula One World Championships because he stopped riding his bike. Yeah, that's right. He reckons that stopping cycling allowed him to lose 1 kilogram of muscle from his legs, and that made all the difference.
Can you imagine if you lost 1 kilogram of muscle mass, Dan? You'd be in muscle deficit.
Yeah, should we get back on topic, Matt? Now, on top of the calories which you burn whilst you're exercising, there's also something called your basal metabolic rate. And that means that your body is still using more energy in a short period after you've finished exercising. So, do your commute to work and back, and you will be getting twice the benefit.
There is a bit of a problem with that, Dan. Firstly, there's no hard scientific data to back it up. And secondly, calories consumed versus calories burned as a driver of weight loss is now considered quite commonly to be a bit of a myth.
It is, isn't it? Basically what it means is that by consuming something like a simple flapjack, you're undoing all the hard work and calories that you've burnt on your commute.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually something called compensatory eating. Now, there's a study in 2009 which showed that we eat after exercise, firstly because we're hungry, and secondly because we think we've done enough exercise that deserves us to eat that amount of calories.
Yeah, I think people often overestimate just how many calories they have burnt whilst they're exercising. And further to that, there's also evidence which suggests that people who do regularly work out and exercise or ride bikes are actually lazier the rest of the time. So they'll rest as much as they possibly can, and instead of doing things like taking the stairs, they'll take the lift.
I wonder what gave them that idea.
There's a big issue here though, Matt.
What's that?
Cake.
Cake?
We love cake. We deserve cake. Go on a bike ride, earn a cake.
It's worse than that, though.
What?
The Great British Bake Off, or GBBO, which is the hugely popular British TV show to find the nation's best amateur baker, well, they recently crowned their new champion, Sophie Faldo.
Yeah, and it turns out she's not just a blooming good baker, she's also a blooming good cyclist. Just last year, in fact, she was crowned national champion at the 2-kilometre individual pursuit.
She needs to watch out, though, because there's a new competition in the Cyclist Bakery Stakes. Becky James, former world track champion, well, she's retiring from cycling to open a bakery. Yeah.
Well, definitely going to have to go and visit there, aren't we?
I think we get a discount.
I'm getting hungry in this show. Ultimately, though, whilst there may be no evidence to suggest that exercise is in itself helping people to lose weight, what cannot be denied is the overwhelming evidence which says that people who commute to work by bike are lighter and leaner.
It's just a question of balance. Not that sort of balance.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Now, we're big fans of starting cycling shorts with news of cycling shorts, so it's over to Cy at the Rouleur Classic.
Well, thanks, guys. It is indeed always a pleasure, isn't it, starting cycling shorts with cycling shorts, and also a new jersey. Look at this. Now, withhold judgment just for 1 second. This is the new EF Education First Drapac, powered by Cannondale Team jersey, and I'm not going to lie, I think that is absolutely banging. So it's made by POC. And one of the reasons it's so vibrant is because it ties in with their ethos around safety and visibility. But what do you guys think? I think we should have a poll, in fact. Hot or not, you can vote just up there. And whilst you do that, I'm just going to nick the sunglasses. Back to you guys.
And it just so happens we have got some of that brand new kit right here. Here's the shorts.
Yes.
And Matt has got the
jersey.
It's a hot from me. That's a break from the norm of the black and blue over the last few years in the peloton, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad they've gone for black shorts. That's good, but this is really going to stick out from the peloton. And Dan, like you, it's a hot from me as well.
Good.
Yep. We're sticking with kit news, a new kit. You got pretty excited last week, didn't you? With the thought of white shorts again being reunited with Cervelo bikes.
I did.
But it was just a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't even April the 1st. They fooled me.
Pulling your leg.
This, then, is what the actual kit will look like for Team Dimension Data next year. And despite my initial disappointment with their joke, I'm a big fan. It's another hot from me on this one.
Yeah, it's quite a fresh, crisp look. I like it too.
We have contacted GCN's head of fashion, Adam Blythe, for his verdict, and we're awaiting that as we speak.
Oh, talking of Blythe, he doesn't look quite as cool as he normally does in this. I mean, what is harder, road or mountain biking? Well, if this little bit of video is anything to go by, it is mountain biking, because Blythe's been schooled by UK cyclocross and mountain bike legend Nick Craig. Check this out.
Really? Craig, he must be 20 years older.
He is 20 years older. Unbelievable.
Now, former UCI President Brian Cookson has recently stated that one of his main post-presidency aims is to have a UK-based World Tour women's squad in place by 2019. Now, admittedly, this idea is in its infancy at the moment with no concrete sponsors in place, but good news nonetheless. And he has also stated that the team will exceed the minimum standards likely to be put in place by the UCI with their new two-tier structure for women's teams coming soon.
Yeah, that is some very good news. More good news. We've got ourselves another P-band.
Have we?
Yeah, cyclists in Cleveland, Ohio are going to have some new bike paths. Now, according to Bike Cleveland, these bike paths are going to be very new because they're made of recycled glass, which is glued to the road surface, forming a rather shiny, bright, but also very, very grippy road surface.
Wow, they are bright, aren't they?
It's pretty cool.
Shiny and grippy, I like that. I'll tell you where somewhere that does need a P-ban.
Where's that?
An unnamed school over in Ireland who have banned all children from cycling into school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said it's due to health and safety reasons. This was reported over on the website Sticky Bottle, and apparently it's because they are in fear of what it will do to the demands on their bike storage and also the fact that they are located on quite a busy road.
I mean, I do understand the concerns of non-cyclists in relation to the risk of cycling, especially for young kids, but to be perfectly honest with you, that is a step in the complete wrong direction if you ask me.
Agreed. But they don't even get Idiot of the Week. That goes to somebody else. A man who was arrested by the California Highway Patrol Agency over in Marin County because he was commuting to work on his bike on Highway 101, but holding onto a truck for most of the way. And apparently he was doing it quite regularly as well.
Do you mean he was doing a nibbly?
Ciao ragazzi, arrivederci, a dopo.
Hey! What are you doing?
Kind of, yeah. Even faster though.
He should get chucked into room 101 for that, and perhaps he might look a little bit like this.
Whoa! That's not actually the guy that was arrested though. That is, of course, Mikel Landa. Halloween might be over for another year, but we had to show you that picture. Probably our favourite post from a pro cyclist over Halloween.
Yeah, and that isn't Movistar's kit for 2018 either, is it?
No, we're not.
Definitely not. And finally on cycling shorts this week, it's tenuous cycling celebrity link of
Is it the Kim
week.
Kardashian bringing cycling shorts back into fashion this week?
Sadly not.
Not again.
And it's kind of pop related. Now, media mogul or pop mogul and X Factor judge Simon Cowell has reportedly spent £60,000 on 7 electric bikes.
Hey guys,
What?
Seriously?
It's Simon Cowell. What?
Guys, seriously,
What's
we've got some unboxing to do.
What is it?
It's an
Check
emergency
it out.
unboxing.
Is it
Open it,
TV?
open it, open it. No, it's not TV. It's not even wheels either.
Nice box.
Go on, open it, open it, open it.
Oh, just do it neat. Oh, wow.
Open it more, open it more. God, man, this is the slowest unboxing.
Sorry.
Put
That's
out my misery.
exciting.
Oh my
Look
god.
at that.
That is cool.
Look at that.
Congratulations on passing 1 million subscribers. This just arrived.
Just arrived. We got to say as well, like, it feels kind of cool, but we couldn't do it without you guys, could we? I mean, there's what, 5 subscriptions in this room? You've got 2 actually, so that makes 6.
2 accounts, yeah.
So that leaves 999,994 of you that
Spot
help make this possible.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Thank
you
you very
all.
much to all of you. Mind you, we're going to keep it though. We're going to divide it 1 week each.
Yeah, I reckon so.
No,
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fair
Just swap it
enough.
around.
Yeah.
And then 1 week in the set as well. So 1 week a month it can be in the GCN show set.
Oh, well, thanks for springing that
That's lovely,
surprise
isn't
on
it?
us.
Does it work? We click it? No. Tech of the week now, and we head back to the Rouleur Classic, where Cy caught up with Gerard Vroomen.
An announcement that coincided with the Rouleur show was the confirmation that the Aqua Blue team would indeed be using SRAM Force 1x on their really rather lovely looking 3T Strada race bikes for next season. Now, I hadn't quite imagined the controversy that would surround a 1x video that we made just recently, so I'm hoping that this man, Gerard Vroomen, will help to dampen down some of the controversy, or indeed maybe inflame it. Gerard, so you are the head of design at 3T. Let's go straight up. Why did you design a frame that could not be used with a front derailleur?
Because it wasn't needed. So, I mean, it's not that I think that nobody should have a front derailleur, just like I don't think the whole world has to be on disc brakes. But just for the bike that we were trying to design here, it made sense to do it with 1x, with disc brakes, with all these other features. So, if you think that, 1x and advantage it really can offer, if you want to maximize that, then you shouldn't waffle, right? Just like as a manufacturer, if we know that we're going to design this bike for a specific type of rider, we should optimize it in that direction. And in this case, that meant no front derailleur. So then we're also not going to put a front derailleur on here. It doesn't mean that we think that there's something wrong with bikes with front derailleurs. So just for this purpose, we didn't want one.
Let's geek out a little bit on gear ratio, shall we? So I nailed my custom mask and said what I thought the team might be using. They'll obviously change depending on the exact parkour, but what do you think they're going to be using most of the time in terms of chain rings and cassettes?
So if you use a cassette that starts with a 9, like we have our own cassette that starts with a 9, so it's a 932, and we'll have some other ratios for the pros as well. Then in the front you have either a 42 or a 44 if you're a pro. If you're an amateur and you want to ride something that's similar to a compact crank, you would ride a 36. A 36.9 is the same as 48.12, so that's on the other end of the spectrum. And then as your smallest gear, you have 36.32. Well, that's a very, very tiny gear that you can climb almost anything with. So, and for the pros, of course, they sit a little bit, so they need the same range, but they just need to move it up to the bigger gears, obviously, a little bit. So I think they'll use that a lot, but there's also races where, even say where they might have a 2x, but they never ever use the small ring the whole day. So for those races, we could, for example, imagine they'll use just an 1128 standard SRAM cassette in the rear, and they combine that with a 54 or a 52 tooth front ring. If you actually want to know if 1x works, which a lot of people out there will think it will not work on pro racing, well then there's only one way to find out, and that is to actually test it with the team. So, of course, this is not a multi-million-dollar sponsorship. It's a very small team that punches well above its weight. But they're very interested in being at the forefront of new technologies, and so they're going with us into this trajectory. And I think for people that question the 1x and they say, well, 1x11 is not enough gears, or the steps are too big, and all these things. Well, in some races, it will be perfect and much better than 2x, just because aerodynamically is better. In some races, it won't matter that much. And it's also possible that there are some races where it's not as good. But that's true for any bike in the peloton. There's no bike that is the best on every day during the season. So just because the Angliru is so crazy steep, it doesn't mean that the other 364 days you need to ride on something that's not really necessary.
All interesting stuff, isn't it? But this is certainly a topic which gets people particularly passionate. So we've picked out a few of our favourite comments from the original 1x video of Cy a couple of weeks back. First up, we've got this one from Manuel Dubler. Did you borrow the 42 plate from the guys over at GMBN? This filthy piece of tableware is a disgrace for cycling and belongs in the dishwasher.
Blimey.
I think I know which side of the fence he's on.
There's some proper passion there, isn't there? Well, this one is pretty good. This works as a very good response, and it's from the 247th, very interesting name. Roadies are super traditional conservatives. CX mountain bike is like free-spirited hippies. More beer and one-bike systems for us if the roadies won't take it.
I think, though, this one perhaps sums things up the best from Ken Goddard. This should take the heat off disc brakes, gravel bikes, sock length for a while. Good point, Ken.
Probably will.
Good point, well made.
It's been a really big week in the world of cyclocross, and Mathieu van der Poel continued his run of absolutely stunning form by taking out the Koppenberg Cross. But what a fashion, though. Did you see how deep he went when he crossed the line?
Yeah, he had to fight hard for that, didn't he?
And collapsed. I mean, it makes me feel emotional just looking at it, but do you know what? For that absolutely Herculean effort, he's going to get this week's Pro, come on Dan, keep with it mate, Wattage Bazooka!
Well, despite that amazing effort, he did seem to recover reasonably quickly because on Sunday he became European cyclocross champion for the first time in his career. That event was taking place in Tabor in the Czech Republic. Incidentally, the same place where Van der Poel has previously won the junior and senior world titles.
Yeah, he was in fact, Dan, the only rider to hurdle the barrier section, whilst everybody else, every single other competitor, had to shoulder and carry their bikes, underlining his sheer brilliance at the moment. In second place was fellow countryman Lars van der Haar, while last year's champion took the bronze medal, and that's Toonarts of Belgium.
In the women's race, it was world champion Sanne Kaart of Belgium who took her third European Championship victory in her career. She did it by out-sprinting the Dutch woman Lucinda Brand. Meanwhile, over at the Koppenberg Cross, the women's event was won by Helen Wyman. Great to see her back on the top step of the podium there. She's obviously a big fan of steep cobbled climbs.
Yeah, very steep cobbled climbs. Meanwhile, most of the world's attention was focused on the Super Lockleys Western Cyclocross League Round 10. And it was former British champion Liam Colleen who turned up and absolutely blitzed the field, with second place going to 34-year-old Briton Simon Richardson, racing for the Global Cycling Network cycling team.
Yes, the many fans who turned up could have witnessed a much closer piece of competition. However, here is Si jumping over a plank very cleanly, and here he is remounting after a run.
We do actually have some how-to videos that potentially could help Simon with his technique.
And in extreme situations, you might need to bounce in the saddle or throw your bike just to get over that last little bit.
It is time now for hack /bodge of the week. First up, this is Dan on Facebook. Apologies, you've lost your surname. But he was basically crowned King of the Carve with this creation from a pumpkin for Halloween. How good is that?
I actually thought it was a helmet when I had to look closely and discovered it was a pumpkin.
Probably doesn't have quite the same protective qualities, but a great job nonetheless.
But one of your 5 a day as well. Anyway, next up is this from
Jack Bardy.
Jack Bardy. Thank you very much, the University campus in Bellington in Washington. Just check out that rather flimsy looking mudguard there, and held on by a length of twine. One thing's for sure, it's light.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bodge, but I bet that works. Maybe not very long, but it works initially.
Yeah, not overly robust.
Now, have you ever forgotten, Matt, to charge your Di2 gears before you head out?
I've had to
unable to change your gears. It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so easy to happen. Well, Molly Weaver came up with this solution, which was basically to tape her junction box and an external charger to her stem. Not particularly pretty, I have to say.
No, it's like a MacGyver type job. I reckon she took upwards of 10-15 seconds to knock that together.
Yeah, worked, but still a bodge.
Yeah, this one's for you, Dan. I'll read it for you while you can just sort of feast your eyes on it, mate. Paul Robson has made a homemade chain kit from a Belgian mineral water bottom. Just look at that. That's actually, it's quite beautiful, isn't it?
Love a chain keeper, love a Belgian mineral water.
It's actually corking. See what I did there? Thanks, mate.
I thought you were going to leave me hanging in. Right, next up, spotted in Muswell Hill in London by Jason Mew. That is little more than a motorbike. Probably need a licence for that thing. We've also got some very special news for you this week, and that is that Topic are going to give an award to the Hack of the Month.
Whoa.
In the form of a Mini 20 Mini.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
very
a
nice.
great prize. First Hack of the Month goes to last week's hack, which was from LUCIA ADSETT for this chain repair hack, which we thought was absolutely ingenious. So well done to you, LUCIA. Get in touch with us in some way with your address, and we'll get Topic to send that out to you as soon as possible. And before we finish with competitions, actually, we've got 10 winners who should come up on the screen now. and they are all winners of some C-Sense lights. So very well done to you. We will be in touch with you shortly to get your address and details and get them sent out.
Very well done indeed. Time now for caption of the week. Last week was this photo at the Shanghai Criterium. It's Chris Froome and friends, rather traditionally attired. And the winner is Andrew Burton for this. Everybody was kung Froome fighting.
I should cut you off there, Matt, for the benefit of our viewers. Well done to you, Andrew. We shall get this GCN Camelback bottle to you as soon as you send us a message on Facebook with your address.
Right, singing.
This week's photo is this one of Mitchell Matthews. Could go on GMBN's Fails and Bales part, couldn't it? An amazing photo. Matt's going to get you started.
Don't worry, I'm just doing some cycling yoga.
Absolutely brilliant. I've got one as well.
Go on then.
Oh, look, a penny.
That's useless.
It is. I'm just trying to prevent 250 "Oh look a penny" caption comments beneath the video.
Fair enough, that's done and dusted though. You cannot use that one.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Do your best with the captions in the comment section down below. We'll pick a winner who will receive one of these this time next week. Before we get on to what's coming up on the channel this week, we picked out a few of our favourite comments from the last 7 days. Firstly, some belters underneath your chamois cream video, Matt.
Right.
Firstly, from Oscar Late, he quotes you, "Should you use it?"
In 2 words, yes and no.
3 words. I think you did that deliberately though, you said. That's what you said. Also, good luck, we need it. Wrote in with this. True story, I left a half-used tub of chamois cream at the in-laws when I was staying there for a month and cycling every day. When I went back 6 months later, the tub was almost totally empty. Her dad had been using it on his face.
That's actually quite funny.
Yeah.
That is actually quite funny.
Loads of good and bad advice came through in the comment section under last week's show. But this one I loved, and I've not heard it before. It came in from Chris Hooper, who put, "Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard." Never a wiser word said, I don't think.
No, that's supposed to work that out a minute. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah, got it yet?
Almost, but it kind of feels like it might
I
make
think
sense,
that's great.
doesn't it? Anyway, on the channel this week, on Wednesday we have How to Selfie Like a Pro. On Thursday we have Top 10 Inspirational Cycling Quotes. On Friday we have Ask GCN.
On Saturday, Cy is taking a look at the Factor Aston Martin Superbike, and we're sticking with Cy actually on Sunday because he's also showing us around the Elite Factory over in Italy. We're back in the maintenance set on Monday, and then Tuesday we're back here for the GCN show. We shall finish the show as ever with
Extreme Corner!
And it's a brilliant one this
It's a
week
big
from
one.
the Italian cyclist and winner of all 3 Grand Tours, Vincenzo Nibali. Check this out.
Take it away, Shock of Messina.
That wasn't very good.
That wasn't particularly extreme either, was it?
No, we can't leave the show like that.
I need something a bit more extreme than that, mate, don't we?
Should we watch Side Crash again?
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness. So I think we should confiscate the GCN kit from Side.
And his bike.
Can't have that representing us.
Unbelievable behaviour.
Well, that is the end of this week's GCN show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us the thumbs up just down below.
Yeah, and if you haven't already subscribed to the Global Cycling Network, you do so for free by clicking on the globe. Now, if you'd like to see me and Simon climbing for a very, very long time, very, very slowly in Taiwan, how about clicking just down here?
Yeah, or if you would like to see the full video from the Rouleur Classic, also with Si, you can find that in the other corner just down there.